Hey, hi, and hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's me, Fahey. Welcome back to our Grandpamaxxing adventure where we pursue jolliness. Guys, we need that jolly. We really, really do. Guys, I don't know about you and your heart space, but within mine, there exists a heart mountain. And atop the heart mountain, there is beautiful white snow. And essentially, it looks like diamonds or pearls, especially when the light of the heart sun shines upon the heart snow. It really does look like jewels. And also atop this mountain is a old man in a robe. And guys, he is so jolly and wise and wonderful to be around. I'm trying to bring him from above up there down below here. I'm trying to bring his high heart mountain ideals from up there to the gross physical space. Okay, we're trying to get as above, so below with it. Trying to be a little bit alchemical, if you will. Walk with me here, guys. We're gonna bring him down. Today, I want to talk to you guys about the Jim Carrey situation because it's super funny to me. I want to talk to you guys about the the easy peasy method for quitting nicotine because that's something I'm doing right now. And then we have our Chinese book of change. And through all of this, I do hope that we will max our grandpaness. I do hope this will help us maximize our experience of old manhood. We, the hood, boy, I was grown up in the old manhood. Okay. So I hope you guys had a good day yesterday. I needed to take a day off. It was a Sunday. As a Gentile, I personally really should be taking Sundays off. I know, guys. I know. Oh, I wish I could one day in my life. Why did I do a thumbs up? I wish I could one day experience a Shabbat Shalom, guys. I really do. I wish Saturday would be my day and I'd be sitting in my home with my little hat and I would have Gentiles running around the house and they'd be flipping light switches and turning on ovens and doing all of these things for me. But right now, it is, oh, sadly, it is not the case, guys. I personally do not own a dreidel at the moment. Guys, the last time I was in a room with a menorah, I don't even know. It's been decades. And am I sad about it? Fuck yes. Every single day I cry that I am not part of the tribe. Anyways, Jim Carrey, what was that? So basically, guys, to give you the breakdown, this is a news report. There was on Saturday or Friday, there was an award show in Paris. That is Paris for those of you English speakers. In Paris, there was an award show, and they put somebody in front of a camera, and that person said, "Hi, I'm Jim Carrey." And they said, hey, this is Jim Carrey. And they put it into the world. And somebody like me, who has eyeballs and ear holes, I looked at it and I said, that's not Jim Carrey. It doesn't look like Jim Carrey. And that's not Jim Carrey. It doesn't sound like Jim Carrey. But there was other people. And these other people coped. And they said, that actually is Jim Carrey. I can tell somehow, even though it has different eyeball colors. And it has a different face. And a different vocal range. I'm actually the smart one because I can tell that is Jim Carrey. Well, how about it? Turns out you all were fucking idiots. Who could have seen it? Uh, I mean, obviously this could be a false claim, but some guy, a face mask maker, puts out on Instagram, okay, guys, this is me confirming that I was the guy in the mask pretending to be Jim Carrey. Here's a picture of the mask, and here's a selfie that I took wearing the mask. And could this be fake? Yes, obviously. Everything can be fake. Guys, AI, like, wake up. Every single thing possibly forever can be fake from now until the end of time, okay? But I personally, the mask technology is so good. It's been so good since the 60s or 80s. I can't remember what date the CIA got really fucking good at masks, but the mask technology, guys, it is so incredible. Because really, like, okay, I'll get into it later, but you do not need much to convince somebody. This is a good example from fucking Owen Benjamin. He put this out there and made me aware of it. But basically, you can, on a stage, you can put two chairs and a table and have people talk, and everybody in the audience will unconsciously understand, like, oh, yes, this is happening in a dining room. Oh, yes, yeah, I can see that. And you can move the two chairs and then put them behind the table, and people will be like, oh, yes, this is a living room. Oh, yes. People really don't need that much context to come to whatever conclusion you're trying to make them get, you know? This is an instance where all they really needed was, I mean, it could have been anybody's face, guys. Like, they literally could have put a woman, like, I mean, actually, like, they could have put a woman and said, this is Jim Carrey. And I believe we're at a point where people would look at that and they'd say, yes, that is Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey has great tits. Like, I think it's that crazy at this point, guys. Like, because it was insane. Like, I'll show you guys, this is a visual because some people can't think. This is what Jim Carrey usually looks like. And some people are like, oh no, Jim Carrey, he doesn't look like that. He doesn't look so normal. Because he's always making wacky, goofy faces, guys. And just because somebody makes wacky, goofy faces doesn't mean that they don't look normal. Jim Carrey actually looks incredibly normal. I will sound gay right now. Jim Carrey actually looks ideal. That actually is like the proper form of a man, is what Jim Carrey looks like normally, okay? Like, that is what a guy should look like, is Jim Carrey, okay? I said it, guys. I said it. I can't take it back. I said it. This is what we were presented with. Notice how it is misshapen and ugly and deformed. Not my Jim Carrey. My Jim Carrey looks fucking beautiful. My Jim Carrey looks like he was crafted out of fine stone by Michelangelo God. Okay? And so, obviously, like, the facial reconstruction surgery is so cope. It's like, no. Jim Carrey was beautiful. Why would he destroy his face like that? And you go like, oh, no, I mean, Jim Carrey, he was crazy. Like, he was so crazy. Didn't you see all of those shows where he was expressive? So it actually totally makes sense that he would lose his mind and destroy his face with reconstructive surgery. Guys, this is cope. This is all cope. Like, the idea that you can't just see what's in front of you and go like, oh no, that's not Jim Carrey. That's crazy. Like, that's what I'm talking about with the Grandpamaxxing, is like, we are our own authorities. We do get to decide what we believe in. And so, yes, like, you are free to believe incorrectly that that was Jim Carrey. It's just like the sign of like a very low capacity individual. Like, very, very low. And I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just trying to tell you, like, the idea that you can't look at something and go, no. It is crazy. Yeah, I mean, guys, like, look at the picture. Look at this, okay? These are not the same fucking people. It's not even close. Like, just take a stand. For fuck's sake, just say no. Just say, oh, actually, from what I've seen, I do not believe that to be the case. That actually doesn't look like Jim Carrey at all. And so I kind of want to end this little segment with, I would really love, like, if somebody, okay, since you guys ate shit and you were wrong, okay, it's already been admitted that, like, it was allegedly a person in a mask, right? How did you come to the decision that that was Jim Carrey? Like, was it the fact that the screen said Jim Carrey? Or was there something about that fucked up ugly face that made you think, oh yes, that is Botox or something? I would love to know. And I'm not going to say like, oh, you're an NPC or you don't have a soul or anything. I'm just going to be like, thank you for sharing. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So yeah, that's all I want to say about that thing. It was fascinating, guys. It's so like, some people are slow as fuck. You really don't know it until you see it. Like, holy shit, like some people cannot recognize a pattern to save their lives. Anyway, so obviously my vibe is off. Not off, but different. Guys, I gotta get off of this fucking nicotine. I gotta stop. Oh. And I know, like, there's gonna be some fucking based body build, brain maximizers, and they're going to be like, oh no, actually, don't you know that nicotine is optimal? Don't you actually know that every single hit of nicotine that you take, it makes your brain better in every single way? I've heard you guys. I get it, guys. I think that a lot of that information might be bullshit. I think that there might be some incentive to get people to like smoke and vape and all of these things that is somewhat like nefarious, you know? And I'm not saying it's like the end of the world. I'm not trying to like judge people who do smoke. I mean, obviously, if you smoke and you vape, I think that you're still higher than somebody who saw that Jim Carrey character and fell for that shit. Um, and this is why I want to talk about the easy peasy method, because basically what happened was I found out about the easy peasy method. I'd been like a nicotine guy since I was 16 to 24, and I listened to the audiobook The Easy Peasy Way to Quit Vaping, and I just stopped. And I stopped and I had like no regrets at all for about a year and a half. And then I went to a festival and I started smoking cigarettes with an old man. And so when I came back from the festival, I was like, oh, well, if I smoke the nicotine, then I will replicate the emotion that I had at the festival. And not true. It doesn't work like that. I'm not at the fest anymore. Goddamn, feels bad. But yeah, it's what is easy peasy? What is the easy peasy method? It's basically just reframing. It's just advanced like self-hypnosis reframing, where a lot of us who have fallen for the nicotine thing, you see people on the TV that are beautiful and they're smoking cigarettes, and you go like, "Oh, yes, well then I would, if I smoked a cigarette, I would be beautiful because those people who are beautiful are smoking cigarettes." And that's not even like a secret, like that the fact that that's kind of what they're doing. If you look into the history of propaganda in cigarettes, you will see that cigarettes were thought of as like an unladylike, disgusting thing until Edward Bernays made them sexy. And I don't, guys, it was like 7 years ago when I first discovered this. And do I remember how exactly he made people think that smoking was sexy when women did it? No, I don't. So I'm going to give a joke example where basically Edward Bernays put women on TV and they were in lingerie and slutty bikinis and they were smoking cigarettes, and that made women smoke. That is not what happened, obviously, unless it is. And I'm just trying to communicate an idea that cigarettes were thought to be unladylike and then they were rebranded. They were sold to people as being a sexy thing, a very, I mean, basically, guys, like a cigarette is like a mini cock. So when a woman smokes a cigarette in public, it's basically like public fellatio, and she's basically just sucking a cock for everybody to see. Isn't that so sexy? And then somebody will be like, oh yeah, that is. I love getting cocked in public and watching my woman suck a cigarette. Oh, I really love that. But so the easy peasy method is basically just unwinding all of that stuff. And like that's what I mean when I realized that I was trying to chase a feeling that I can't replicate anymore. It became super clear like, okay, well, it's not fun anymore. I'll just quit it, you know? And this is just me like one day into it. Like I'm not like 2 weeks down the road and I've like completely kicked it, but kind of the framing that the easy peasy method uses is like, yeah, I've beat it. I've been to the top of the mountaintop. I understand right now that like it doesn't make anything better. Like I'm a little bit tired. I slept for like 10 hours or whatever. That's honestly the only withdrawal I've ever experienced from nicotine is like the first 2 days I need to sleep a lot. And then after that, what happens is I'll return to normal. I'll be my baseline. I'll be super funny. I'll be having a great time. And then there's this fucking stupid little voice inside of my head that doesn't belong to me. It's a nasty little character of, one of those. And he goes, oh yeah, you can feel this good and have the nicotine too. And it's always a goddamn lie. It's not possible. And just For me, the main motivation is I just don't want to goddamn think about it ever. Like, I just hate when I'm out in public and I'm thinking, like, not thinking, but I'll have a thought like, oh, well, like, could I vape here? Or could I do that here? Oh, I wonder if I could, you know? I hate that voice. And so I'm going to kill that voice. I'm going to go into my own mind and kill that dirty, disgusting little creature. And then I will feel so much better, guys. I'll feel so much incredible relief, and we're gonna start going even fucking crazier with these guys. This Jim Carrey shit, this is nothing. This is absolutely nothing. We're just scratching the surface. And I guess I should feel like, or not feel, I should go a little bit deeper on how to accomplish this, but it's really it's not it's called the easy peasy method, guys. It is super easy and peasy. It's like stop identifying with the little voice in you that's like, "Oh, that will be so good when I do that." And truly understand that you were happier before you first did it. Like that was the thing that really broke it for me is I was like, "Man, every single time." Okay, the first time I like took nicotine or vaped, it was when I was with like it was like me and four other guys, and we were all vaping in a bedroom. Guys, it wasn't a gay thing, okay? It was a teenager thing, okay? It was not gay. Okay, four guys in a bedroom, okay? There's no way we could have made that work sexually, okay? Okay, now you guys are thinking we could have. No, no, it was not, okay? It was just vaping, okay? Just vape. And I know that's that's suspect, but just work with me here, okay? So every time I'd be like hitting the vape, I'd be like, unconsciously, I'd be like, oh, this is like that time when I was with all those boys in that bedroom, guy. But, and it will bring back that feeling, but it never does, guys. It never does. It's just, it's a constant chase. And that's the terrible thing, not the terrible thing, but that's one of the things that sucks about nicotine is like, you're never there. Like, you're never at the point where you're like, oh, sick, you know? Like, even, I don't like alcohol. I don't enjoy doing it. But if I was to drink, right, there'd be a point where I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'm there, you know? And then for the rest of the night, I personally could be like, I'm not going to drink anymore, you know? I cannot do that with nicotine. There's not a wall that you hit and you're like, okay, no more nicotine for the day. It's just constant like craving, 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 craving. You take one hit and then your brain is like, oh, but what about the next hit? And then you take the next hit and your brain's like, oh, what about the next hit? Forever and ever and ever and ever. Okay. So I'm just trying to break that loop. I don't enjoy that loop. And there will be points within like the next couple of weeks where my brain will be like, oh, but what if you did this and you had the nicotine? And I'm just gonna have to fucking beat the shit out of that guy every single day. So that's where I am. I'm obviously like, I'm in some state of withdrawal right now, but again, like I only feel like it's not even tiredness. I can tell. It's like, it feels like a tension behind my eyeballs almost. And not like a painful tension, but it's just like there's something behind my eyes where it's like, could you not be? And I went for my morning run today and my vision is super blurry. I don't have perfect vision, but today when I was running, it was especially bad. I was like, I mean, I can tell like, oh, that's a tree or oh, that's a car, but past that, it was very bad, you know. But it is what it is. It's literally just tomorrow's going to be a little bit hard, and then Wednesday my schedule's completely booked, so it won't be hard at all. And then yeah, I'll just be a normal. I'll be so free. And it's about like not having that chain, you know? It's basically right now I've got the chain of nicotine in my brain and my heart, and it's like this will bring you joy. Your joy comes from this. And I'm gonna break that chain because the nicotine is not my provider of joy. The nicotine brings me nothing. And again, that's the easy peasy method, is just identifying what it is. It doesn't make you feel better. It makes you forget how awful makes you feel. Because it really, like, this nicotine withdrawal, like, this is nicotine. This is the experience that it gives somebody is a terrible, not terrible, for me at least, but like a lulling sense of discontent is what nicotine brings. And for me, it's just not something that I need to experience. It's like the feeling of not, of like wondering whether or not your device or your cigarettes will last as long as you think you need them to. It's like an anxiety thing, and I'm naturally, I'm not an anxious person at all. I don't really stress about much. So like, why am I giving that to myself? But yeah, this is me. I'm giving you guys too much lore. I'm telling you guys too much about myself. You know, I'm looking at this and I'm like, we could go two ways. We could read either of these. We're gonna read self-control today. Okay, this one will be nice, I feel. You face very real problems. Ooh, don't we all? Get hold of yourself. You think the odds are against you. Do not act too quickly. Quietly gather yourself together and accumulate inner strength. Help will come from others facing the same problems. Danger remains even though the problems fade away. Remain alert and perceptive. When confronted with great force, disperse it with quick remedies and unique prevention measures. Understanding the source of the problem will enable you to control it. Eliminate problems in this way and move ahead. Oh, very good. Very good. Thank you, China. Thank you, China, very much. You face very real problems. Yes, and also, okay? A lot of our problems are inventions of our mind. A lot of them, okay? Obviously, there will be the person who's like, oh, I was shot and now I have a hole in my heart, and you're telling me, the person who got shot, that my problems are mental. No, I'm talking about like this, I will say this example of the nicotine addiction. It is not, it is a real problem, but it's not a real problem at the same time. The problem is not the nicotine, it's the story around it, okay? And not even at this point, because the story is that, oh, the nicotine relaxes you, but you can rewrite it and you can be like, no, the nicotine just gives you a sudden, release from the anxiety that nicotine produces within your system. So, you can just reframe your problems. And even like, oh, I have a job that I do not enjoy. Oh my gosh, I do not enjoy my job. Well, that's a choice. It's a choice to listen to those thoughts that make you hate your job versus the thoughts that make you love your job. And you have a choice to leave said job. Like, I was a mailman, and there was days where I'd be like, oh God, this walking is so goddamn awful, all this walking. But there was also days where I'd be like, man, I really love these old people that I'm serving. It's so nice to help these old people. And I could have, realistically, if I wanted to do that for the rest of my life, I could have just overrode the one voice that was a bitch that complained all the time, and I could have focused on the one voice that was super grateful and excited to crush. Because it's all, I'll say it a million times, guys, it's about choice. It's about choosing which ideas you listen to and which ideas you believe. Because I am back. My phone stopped recording because it had too many videos. Get hold of yourself. Yes, guys, we must be our own grandpas. We must be the person who holds ourselves, because nobody else knows what the fuck we got going on here, okay? We can't trust anybody else to get us on track or whatever. We gotta hold ourselves, and we gotta hold ourselves well, like a big, loving hug embrace. You think the odds are against you. Yes, it's because of this fucking voice in our heads, guys. It's because of this mind ego that says, oh, this, oh, that. That thing is a liar, That thing is a false identity. And basically, we just need to tune that thing out and become radically optimistic grandpas, to the point where people are like, oh, I cannot stand your optimism. I cannot stand how unupset you are. We need to get to that point. Do not act too quickly, unless, your intuition gives you the right answer, in which case, act right away. Like when I saw this Jim Carrey shit, I acted immediately on Twitter and I was like, this is like they're not even trying anymore or something like that. I was like, obviously I can see this. It's crazy how people cannot see this, you know? And that was the correct thing to do because my intuition is incredible. But if I was like doubtful about it, if I was looking at it, I was like, well, I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's got green eyeballs now. Maybe, you know? Then I would have waited for more information. I would have scouted the scene and monitored the situation. But that was a unique situation where it was very obvious that that was not Jim Carrey. Quietly gather yourself together and accumulate inner strength. Is there ever a bad time to develop inner strength? Is there a bad time to become strong and awesome? I do not think so. I think it is something that we should always be pursuing. When I was in before my day off Saturday, I went to a Vietnamese Buddhist shrine, and it was so beautiful, guys. And I was running up the staircase to the shrine and I was getting all strong in my legs, and I was looking at all of these Buddhist enlightened people and I was reading their stories and I was strengthening my heart and all this stuff. And sometimes it's all you need, you know. Sometimes you just need to go on a little bit of an adventure, go somewhere completely new that you have no expectations for, and just, you know, become a little bit more of yourself at the end of the day. That's what it was for me, really, is I just put myself into a new situation and now I have a little bit more understanding of like who I am, kind of. Help will come from others facing the same problems. Yes. In most cases, if you are honest and you say, "Oh, this is something I've been struggling with," other people who have been struggling with the same thing will come and they will offer you their solutions, you know? And sometimes these solutions are unwarranted and you read them and you're like, that doesn't seem like it would be a solution to me. But we should all just be grateful that people care and that people are trying to overcome things that are not good. That's how I see it. It doesn't really matter if anybody has the correct health advice. It's just the fact that we're going for something instead of being unconscious goyim, you know? Oh, Gentile. I'm sorry. I meant to say Gentile, not goyim. Danger remains even though the problems fade away. Even if you get past the destructive thought patterns and you get past the addictions that those thought patterns create, you will still have that little thing inside of your head or heart that pushes you towards those self-destructive vices, you know? I mean, maybe it goes away for some people, but in my experience, that thing is still there. And it's always like what it is like an abdication of responsibility. It is this thing that says, oh, it basically gives you a story for why it's okay to suck and not crush. It's basically like, oh no, like you do this. This is something that you do because of something that happened in the past. Like you do this nicotine because in the past you really loved it and it's something that you cannot avoid or something like that. And I mean, when I went like the year without it, and I've had it a couple of times where I broke nicotine off for like a year, the voice wasn't there. I didn't hear it. But as soon as I got back on the nicotine, it arrived again. So it is always there. It's just like under the surface in my experience. Maybe you guys have found a way to kill the inner creature. Remain alert and perceptive. Always, you know, that's the goal of this Grandpamaxxing, guys, is we want to be more conscious so that we can develop more jolliness and have better stories at all times. The more conscious we are, the more information we are able to absorb, the better our stories will be, and the more incredible our lore will be. We gotta be awake, boys. Gurdjieff said that humanity is in a constant unconscious state, and we must prove Gurdjieff to be wrong and dumb. We are anti-Gurdjieff here. We don't believe that Gurdjieff guy. I mean, he has some good ideas, I guess. When confronted with great force, disperse it with very quick remedies and unique preventative measures. It doesn't have to be, a lot of the time, this goes into placebo effect. a lot of the time you just need to do something. You just need to do something to signal to your awareness that you are trying to change, and the change will come. Like, this is why, in my opinion, so many people have developed miraculous results from meditation, is because they do the meditation and they're signaling to their unconscious mind, their higher self, their whatever you want to call it. They're basically signaling to it like, hey, I actually am willing to put in the work. I actually want to do the thing and get better. And because of that, they ask and they receive. That's how I, I know that gets, oh, it's so quantum and it's so hard to understand quantum stuff. I know, I know, but that's how I understand it, is basically ask and you shall receive. Just put in the work, put in the effort. And, like right now I'm signaling to the world like, oh, I want to quit nicotine. And I'm also like making myself like accountable. If I come on video next day and I have a little vape in my hand, like you guys are going to make fun of me and you guys are going to call me gay. So I can't do that anymore. It's a frame shift. It's easy peasy. Uh, Understanding the source of the problem will enable you to control it. If you understand that it is not you and it is that disgusting little voice, that little creature, it is super easy to look at that voice and observe it and go, oh, you are a liar. You are a thief of my joy. And to not let it into your heart and to let it basically die and rot in your mind until you open up the thought loop again and then it revitalizes itself. But the more that you see that thing as an adversary and the more that you do not identify with it, the easier it is to get away from these negative addictions and things. I used to smoke weed every day, guys. I used to smoke weed every day, and then I came to a point where I was like, oh, I want to dream. I want to have dreams when I close my eyes. I don't want this anymore. And then I said to the voice that told me to smoke that ganja, I said, shut the fuck up, you Jamaican voice. I'm not going to do that every day. I'm going to read my Bible and not smoke weed. And that Bible, I got to open that motherfucker. Eliminate problems in this way and move ahead. It's about getting to the root. It's like in this example, it's not quitting nicotine. Like if I just quit nicotine, nothing would change. It's about understanding that there is a thought form. There is a thought form inside of my brain that is sucking me into sucking on nicotine. And it's basically my responsibility to kill that thought form, to be super vicious with it and not give it an inch of space. And if I do that, if I kill it, then I will crush beyond my wildest dreams and I will never have to waste money on a nicotine vape again. And I will be so happy. And we will all be atop the mountaintop with the old grandpa just fucking watching the sunset and telling happy stories. So guys, I am withdrawn and so I will be withdrawing. I hope that this was fun. I really enjoyed the Jim Carrey topic. I think it's super interesting that people will literally just believe anything. Like it was it was a social experiment, and it was super interesting to watch. And I hope that you guys were there with me watching it and being like, what the fuck is going on? If not, it's okay. If you guys fell for it, I just want to know, like, how did you fall for it? What part of it convinced you that that was Jim Carrey? Was it the fact that it said Jim Carrey next to the picture of the guy? Was that all it took? Because that's the only evidence I saw that it was Jim Carrey, was the fact that they had that picture and they said Jim Carrey underneath that picture. But I don't know, maybe the NPCs are the real higher beings. I don't know. And I like this easy peasy method thing because it can be applied to other things. It's not just for nicotine. It's a very versatile tool that you can use to anything that's bringing you grief in your space. If you just identify that little nasty desirer and you cut them out. And I'll go a little step further. Instead of desiring the things that you do want, like right now, there's a thing that I want so badly. Oh, guys, just thinking about them. I want it so badly, but I don't like really desire it at this point. At this point, I'm just looking at it as if it is mine, and I'm going to interact with it as if it is mine, you know? So that's a little kind of like a little experiment that I'm doing. And I think that's helpful. I think that desire, I was at the Buddhist shrine yesterday. I do think that desire is a problem and it's something that we can work on. And usually the way to do that is to get more in alignment with our real self and act as if you already have all the things that you truly want. Anyways, that's it. I'm withdrawing. You guys have a great day. I will probably see you tomorrow.